We had basically one day in Croatia, and we were in the Slavonia region, which is in the east, near the Danube River. We started off in a city called Usk. Usk is how it's pronounced. It's definitely not how it's spelled. It's the largest city in that region. It's the fourth largest city in Croatia. We were in the cultural center, which is in the old part of the city, and we saw the cathedral and a number of very old buildings, most of which actually date to in the 1600s or so and later, and that's true in most cities and countries in Eastern Europe, just because of the Ottoman influence. Usk suffered a lot in the Croatian independence war. There was a lot of damage and a lot of people were killed. Not where we were. We couldn't see any of the effects of that there, but the effects of that do still linger, for the people. But certainly it's beautiful and a very large, vibrant city now. This is one of the buildings in Vukovar that was mostly destroyed, although most of Vukovar was destroyed during the war where Croatia got its independence as part of the breakup of Yugoslavia when the Serbs came and really destroyed most of this place. But this building is here kind of as a monument, and that's why you see all the flowers. It's hope rising from the ashes, like as was described to us, like a phoenix. So in Vukovar they have several bridges crossing it's a small river. It looks like a canal that connects with the Danube River. We're crossing one of them, and then we're going to walk down and cross over the other, going back to our ship. It's a beautiful little town which is resurrected from the ashes of war. Belgrade is the capital of Serbia, and Belgrade in Serbian means White City. And it was called the White City because that's the way the city looked due to the fortress that stands up above the city, which is at the confluence, or where the Sava and Danube rivers meet. Apparently the first reference to the name of the White City, or Belgrade, came in a letter from Pope John VIII in the year 878. The fortress itself dates back to well before Roman times. The current fort is mainly from the 17th century, though. I have to say, the fort and the views of the city and the rivers from the fort are just amazing. This is the Serbian Orthodox Church of St. Sava in Belgrade, Saint Sava is the patron saint of Serbia. This is the largest church in Serbia and one of the largest Eastern Orthodox churches anywhere. Construction started apparently in 1935, and with a long delay because of World War II and the communist regime, it wasn't completed until 1995. This church holds thousands of people, and in the Serbian Orthodox Church, you stand for all services. There are no pews. This is Belgrade, Serbia, the waterfront at night before we're sailing tomorrow for a different point actually in Serbia. But it's a bit of a party in this area. And you can see churches in the distance. And off to the side, a bridge going across the Sava, because this is the Sava River, which feeds into the Danube. Beautiful bridge, and it'd be interesting to see what awaits us, but we've had a full day today. Golubac Fortress was a medieval Serbian fortress built in the 14th century, and apparently before that it was the site of a Roman settlement, and there were lots of battles there between all the different empires that tried to control the area. In addition to everything else, it's supposed to have repelled over 120 attacks in its day.
Those big armors, heavy swords, that with all of that now, you need to climb up to those towers and to fight with someone who is expecting you. Almost impossible. And now that is how now slowly we are getting to the end. How in the whole history this was conquered only once, as I mentioned to you, that has so many rulers, to understand and why. This empty place that we are right now, that was the place of the capital, that was the primary defense of the fortress in the city.
Looking at the towers and the distance between them, it's easy to see how a fortress like this, with all the multiple towers, could be difficult to take. There are a lot of a lot of steps up here. Looking across, you can see all the different levels and people coming down from one of the towers opposite. Lipinski Vir is a Mesolithic archaeological site. It's 11,000 years old, people lived there for about, I guess, 2,500 years. And the reason they lived in that one location for so long is because there was lots of fish in the Danube right next to them. You can see the foundation of the houses. The foundations were all exactly the same. And we saw some examples of what the houses would have looked like fully built outside. This is in the Danube National Park in eastern Serbia, which is a UNESCO Global Geopark.
And how now you heard that those people been familiar with that red clay. They have opportunity to use that red clay and to cover their houses with the clay. If they use something like that, it will be much warmer for them in the winter time, especially here. And that red clay also will be very good protection from the firing the whole house from the fire pit. But once more again, we didn't find any clue how they build their house.
Super eclectic gallery of carved art. Here, a little garden in Serbia. We just had some honey brandy. Getting ready to go back to our cruise ship. The artist finds what he finds in nature and just creates his own pieces. Very interesting.
Anybody else but Hercules. So Hercules took his giant axe, cut the mountain into two, then the water appeared again. So that's exactly what you are seeing now. When we are coming closer, we are seeing really the water, and both sides of the Carpathian Mountains, the cliffs, they actually really look like as if somebody used a giant axe and cut the rocks. Level of the water is more than 32 meters deeper here, which is definitely over 100 feet. And you have to the left hand side quite a good display now of these rocks and how they are getting darker when they are exposed to the wind. And now take a look, there is a metal plug there to the left hand side. It will be very soon in line with the wheelhouse. It was mounted there quite recently in 2018 by the Hungarians, because quite a few of those inscriptions dedicated to very important persons, like the engineer called Boros, who was a minister of transportation in the second half of the 1800s of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, or Count István Széchenyi. Do you remember the chain bridge? That's the guy who actually commissioned the bridge, one of the greatest Hungarians ever. They actually worked and invested money and built a railroad here. So it was their project, because they wanted to improve navigation here and they wanted to improve the trade. They wanted to be in control of the trade, which would be coming from the Black Sea all the way up and thus connecting.
This part of the Danube is called the Iron Gate, and you're actually going through 4 gorges, which have the Carpathian Mountains on one side and the Balkan Mountains on the other side. And it used to be a very wild and a dangerous part of the river. A lot of rocks and rapids. The Serbian name for this part of the river means whirlpool. Transportation got a little bit better, apparently in the 1st century AD, when the Roman Emperor Trajan built some canals to support military campaigns. And transportation got better again once the first Iron Gate Dam opened in the 1970s. This is not a picture, this is a video. Come on.
Oh, well, whatever.
Because we got the water coming along here.
I don't post a lot, but I've posted moon pictures from our cruises. because they're
I'm
just
not
so
even
full.
sure where we are on the Danube, but
I'm
I'm not even sure where we are on the Danube right at the moment.
Well,
But
it will be marked
You just tell them this is Danube.
somewhere between Romania and
Very
Serbia.
fair.
Bulgaria, and I think Bulgaria is where we're pretty much sort of are.